NIL crash course. So here we go. We're going to bang out what it is, how you get one. Like with any of our content, feel free to chirp in if you have any feedback or thoughts as well. So number one, what is NIL? Well, stands for name and image likeness. It allows an athlete to monetize their personal brand by signing endorsements with brands and promoting products. It is not a pro deal. Not a pro deal. There are no performance components within the deal. It is strictly the sale of an athlete's personal brand for a certain duration of time to another brand in the form of endorsements and promotion of products. That's what it is. Now, a few things to factor in here. Why do brands even do NILs in the first place? Well, number one, they have very high retention when they sign up young athletes who then normally go on and will sign with them as pros. So what they're looking for with an NIL is they want the best young athletes. Now, what are the best young athletes? Because sometimes young kids might get this twisted. They might think, well, I'm doing pretty well in England, so therefore I'm probably worth an NIL. No. You got to be meddling at Europeans if you're going to get anything significant. You got to be unbelievably good, consistently making national teams and performing well at major championships. This is about bringing in unbelievably good young students, good young athletes who can go on and perform at a really high level in the future. So that's what they're looking for. From my understanding, the retention rate's like 90+%. So if you sign an NIL as a young athlete, you are very, very likely to go on and sign a pro deal with that brand when you finish up in university. So that's the first thing I'd suggest. That's what brands are looking for. They're not looking just to support loads of people left, right, and center. They want this to be a sensible business decision where off the back of the marketing budget that they're utilizing, this athlete will go on and provide them fantastic value in the long term. It's also worth mentioning, what are they looking for in an NIL? Get you for as cheap and for as long as possible. Why not? It's no different than if you're bringing someone in on a contract. If you're an employer, you want to try and get people and pay them as little as possible for as long as you can. That's the whole point. That's how you maximize profits. It's not about just support. I think sometimes people think like, well, I've ran well, so therefore someone might give me an NIL. That's not what this is about. It's a business decision. Now, the second thing to factor in with an NIL is you cannot compare events in track and field. Some are just immediately going to be worth more than others. So I'll give you a good example, right? I had a conversation with one of the highest jump lads that I work with, who I love, top boy. He was like, well, hold up. I'm second in Euros, right? Silver medalists. Why are guys that are maybe running not as well as me getting better deals or getting NILs? This doesn't make any sense. Well, it comes down to a very simple fact that some events are just simply worth more than others. Sprinters and distance athletes get the best opportunities, and they always will, for a very simple reason. They have more exposure and more opportunities to compete at the national level and international level. So sprinters, you have 4x1, 4x4, you have Europeans, World Championships, Olympics, etc. There's more stuff that they'll go compete in, and more people in the casual audience will watch them. Distance athletes have cross, you have the road network, also people that follow distance athletes are normally runners, where they just buy more stuff, right? More kit, more shoes, whatever it is, heart rate monitors. There's just more stuff that you can kind of endorse off the back of a distance athlete. Field event athletes, you get the rough end of the stick, unfortunately, right? You're not on TV as much. It's an event where it just gets less traction, less marketing ability. So therefore, sprinters and distance athletes get more cash. Field event athletes, even if you're doing unbelievably well, you're going to be worth less. That's just how it is, right? At least in the lens of a brand. They're going to look at it and think we can get more money from sprinters and distance athletes. So that's the second thing to understand. Now, number 3, social media. How important is that? Well, it's incredibly important, right? In general, the conversations that I've had with pro agents is about 60% based on how good you are as an athlete and 40% based on how good your socials are. Obviously, when you're doing endorsements and you're doing collab posts and you're putting stuff on social media, that's where a lot of stuff today gets sold. So if you have more eyeballs per month, your follower count, blah, 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 that stuff's going to be a big indicator in terms of how much you're worth. Some of the best paid athletes are not athletes. They're like runfluencers, right? They're like people that don't have any good times, but they just have really good followings, maybe like fun runners that just have an absolute ton of followers. And they get a ton of money. They get endorsed, right? At least at the pro level, they get more money. So you've got to remember, kids, number 1, NILs. You've got to be unbelievably good to get one. Number 2, sprinters and distance athletes will always be worth more because of the events that they do in the traction. Number 3, social media is very important. Number 4, we're going to whack this in at the end as well, just for your own awareness. if you are looking at an NIL and you want to go to the US, remember, number one, you have to ensure this complies with state law. Different states have different rules. So you need to make sure that wherever you're going, your NIL is going to be acceptable. And number two, this is just my personal opinion, NIL is not a bread and butter thing, right? This is not like this needs to be the main aim. Get to the right university, get the right coach, get the right setup. And that is more likely to provide you with long-term benefits rather than just trying to cash out early and then just work out the university off the back of it. So get your university sorted out, get your NIL, crack on from there. But I hope this helps in terms of giving some clarity regarding what this means. Because I think there's maybe, we won't call it misinformation, but I think there's maybe some confusion out there regarding what exactly this process entails.